Okay, so unfortunately I completely failed, and my entire stream has been kind of for naught, except for commentary and game analysis, which has no video to back it up. So it's going to be rather boring, all that. Out the door, we are seeing red immediately engage on that mansion, so Murder Inc. is heading there. However, they did not prevent the neutralization, and we're seeing 0-1 up against Chicken Shawarma. Chicken Shawarma has gone for that Moa, and Miss Betsy Ross is now falling into 0-1. However, both these, the two of them are not very high damage, so 0-1 should be able to hold out fairly well here right now. However, Murder Inc. does have that early cap that is going to... Okay, there we go. We got the clock tower for retired players, and retired players did manage to get off some kills. We should see, and Zambrini is now falling onto the mansion, and we will see Zambrini come in, and we should see 0-1 manage to stay up thanks to some rezzing from Zambrini. And Depths of Despair is now in action over here as well. And we now have Chicken Shawarma down on his back, and it looks like he's going to be actually getting stopped relatively soon. Jumping over to Trick Shots, he is taking down the Trebuchet, and Reaping Hunter is now down. Actually, he's been using the Trebuchet himself, Trick Shots, and jumping over to the Windmill, we got a 1 versus 1. Fugazi actually looks like she's won that fight all alone, and that's pretty impressive, as you don't see too many Bunker is actually taking points. And now we got retired players currently up 2 capture points to none for MURDA Inc. Fugazi now leaving, as it's not generally a good fight, a 1 versus 1, and she doesn't really need to stay there. And she doesn't really have too much support to help her, as everyone's on the opposite side of the map, so that's kind of a smart move. And Blue now has gotten back their mansion and jumping over, and we got Miss Betsy Ross, who's almost down, Chicken Shawarma, who's trying to get her up, and she ate so much damage from Zambrini trying to res. Whenever you try to... There we go, Zambrini is now getting Chicken Shawarma. Whenever you try to res someone and you have a thief on you, you're pretty much screwed. There's not a whole lot you can do except if you can immobilize, knock them back, or get multiple people to res simultaneously to reduce the damage that thief is doing. And Miss Betsy Ross is now going to be going down relatively soon here, as it is a 2 versus 1. At the same time, Zambrini is really low on health, and Miss Betsy Ross has now been dropped. Jumping into the clock tower, we got a 2 versus 1 going on here. Actually, a 3 versus 1 with Trick Shot sitting up on top of the ledge over there. And it looks like we have more engagement outside of the clock tower. Jumping over to Zambrini's view. Zambrini is almost dead. He just managed to survive that. Jumping into the clock tower, we got Darkcool versus Fugazi. Darkcool did switch out to be a dagger, and so he might be able to actually take down Fugazi. However, Fugazi now has help from Depths of Despair, and Depths of Despair is in action as we speak. However, Darkcool now is getting reinforced by Miss Betsy Ross. But Miss Betsy Ross isn't exactly a DPSer and isn't much support, so it'll be interesting to see if they can manage to take down retired players. They now have 4 players here, retired players, against what appears to be 2. This is going to be really bad for Darkcool and Miss Betsy Ross. They'll be feeding the retired players extra kills here and not even getting a point out of it. And Darkcool is now on his back. He is now trying to run out with that mist form to res up. Let's see if anyone comes down for him. It looks like Trick Shot though is down here, and Depths of Despair are down here, so they're gonna get off a double stomp here. Jumping back in the clock tower, we have the Reaping Hunter and Chicken Shawarma. Fugazi Heals is about to get dropped over here. It looks like we just missed a MOA. However, they couldn't capitalize on that MOA, and Fugazi is still up. We got 3 members here of the retired players. Trick Shots, Depths of Despair, and Fugazi. That combination of the double nades is insane amount of damage. And down Chicken Shawarma goes. He's now on his back. Miss Betsy Ross is on his back. The Reaping Hunter's on his back. And that's the end of this team fight for MURDA Inc. Jumping over to the mansion, we got 0-1 currently fighting Spother. 0-1 not in too much danger at this point, keeping Spother off that point. Nicely fearing Spother over there. Spother is not a tank. He is a trap ranger focused on a combination of the power and condition damage that he can put out. However, Spother is now going to be 2 versus 1 over here, and as he's not really putting enough pressure on 0-1, he's going to have to bail here, Spother. However, Spother is getting support from Miss Betsy Ross. Miss Betsy Ross is coming in, but it dropped a feedback where it wasn't too useful, and Spother is now down. Depths of Despair going for that stomp, and it looks like the stomp was not made by Depths of Despair, and Spother is about to get back up, and 0-1 and Depths of Despair are now in a 2 versus 2. Actually, Spother has bailed out a little bit, and 0-1 is now running to get Spother and keep him from engaging and taking him down. It looks like 0-1 is falling back onto the point to help take down Miss Betsy Ross, but Spother is falling back here now too to help support. Trick Shots is coming up in behind, and we should be seeing a 3 versus 1 here soon. Or sorry, 3 versus 2. Actually, no, scrap that. Trick Shots is running back into the clock tower, and we have Trick and Shawarma, Miss Betsy Ross, and Spother here. We got Depths of Despair now on his back, and it looks like we're seeing a stomp attempt, and Depths of Despair has been stomped. We have Fugazi, though, who's actually running past this fight, which is probably a good move, and it actually doesn't matter too much. All they need to do is cap a single point, and they're good. And actually, Fugazi Heals just rubber banded for me, and here she is, back in action, supporting 0-1. It looks like Fugazi Heals is now heading away from that point, and 0-1 held out for an insane amount of time. Looks like Fugazi is going to go into that clock tower and take that point, and jumping across at that windmill, we got Zambrini fighting Darkhold. Zambrini is almost dead, and we have a downstate fight. Survival of the fittest over here. Let's take a look at Darkhold. He does have that mist form, and so he's guaranteed to win this fight. All he needs to do is mist form and drop again, and he's good to go. Unfortunately for Zambrini, that's going to be the end of him, and Darkhold will get a rally off of that. Depths of Despair now back, though, and Darkhold is going to be facing a lot of pressure here. Jumping back over to Darkhold, we're seeing Depths of Despair holding out pretty well over here. He just dropped his supply crate and getting off a nice stun, and Darkhold is in some big trouble. However, he is getting some help from Spother, and Depths of Despair is bailing from this. The blue team is really far ahead now, 215 points. They're not really in any danger of losing. They're the only ones with a point. Scrap that. Red team has now gotten a point. And going back over to the mansion, we have what appears to be a 2 versus 3. Zambrini on his back, the Reaping Hunter on his back. 0-1 is currently entangled, can't get out of it. And unfortunately, the Reaping Hunter is back on his back, and Zambrini's death didn't pop him up. And we're seeing the Reaping Hunter, Miss Betsy Ross, and Chicken Shawarma are all down. They just ate tons of damage from that trebuchet, and they have all been annihilated. Jumping into the clock tower, we got Spother versus Fugazi Heals. Fugazi doesn't look like she's in any real trouble right now. She has her heal coming and back up really shortly. She has burnt one of her shouts, her stand your ground, but that shouldn't be too big a deal. She does, like I say, have her heal to still use. She does have a lot of pressure on her from the conditions, and she does have poison, which reduced all that healing she just got. However, Spother and the Reaping Hunter are almost dead, and that's it, boys and girls. It looks like Retired Players did a clean sweep this evening, and did some really good job there communicating throughout that match. I'm extremely sorry that I was a retard and didn't realize I did not turn on my screen cap. I use Dextery and the icons, and I didn't look for it, and thus I missed out on 2/3 of the match, despite streaming all my commentary for 2/3 of the match. Now, if I can overlay my commentary, it would be perfect. Next time, I need to put my information up so people can actually send me a tell and let me know that I'm a moron.